Hi Ruronis, this is your pal, Ruroni K95 here. So today, since in the tradition of where I did my anime manga collection update videos, as well as my manga collection update videos, as well as my entire anime and manga collection videos that I made in the past, I have picked about 8 of these mangas. The ones that are published, that are printed in Japanese from Japan, are 8 of these Japanese mangas. That's right, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I have only about 8 Japanese mangas that I picked from my manga collection, of how you divided from probably 181 manga books, you divide 8 of them, which we'll get to more about it in a moment after I talk about the manga updates. So let's begin my Japanese manga collection. Okay, so I have 8 of some Japanese manga books. When I mean those Japanese manga books, you know, the ones that are printed in Japan, because those are basically the Japanese import manga books. Because, you know, most manga books that are printed in Japan were printed in, like, tankobon volumes, as well as ones that came with slip covers on every manga, compared to the English translated manga books. I might as well plan on doing a discussion video on English translated manga versus Japanese translated manga book for my next Friday's discussion video, which I'm going to be planning on doing a discussion video. Stay tuned, or maybe next Saturday. I'll be doing another discussion video on next Saturday, I guess, if I had scheduling change of plans. So, let's dive into some of my Japanese manga collection I have by far. The first one I have is Attack on Titan Junior High Volume 1 manga book. This is my first manga that I got printed in its Japanese language translation. This is the one I have by far, because this one basically comes in a slipcover, which I'll show you. Because this one basically is published under Shonen Magazine Comics. Attack on Titan Junior High Volume 1. Yeah, it's set where it says Shonen Magazine Comics on it. Yep, it's probably in its original Japanese translated one, which is cool. I love it. And yep, it did come in a slipcover and all. What can you do? And here's the back with the yen on there, logo on it. And if you see on the pages on there, this is probably a manga that is printed in its probably original Japanese. I had to check the print. Yeah, it's printed in Japan. What can you do? This got me interested in buying mangas that are... Before I show you some other manga books, here's a little quick thought about it. When I first bought Attack on Titan Junior High manga, the first volume I have, this is probably one of those, like, you have to call it, like, mangas that are printed in Japan, because it's probably in its original Japanese translated ones of what you can find at a manga store in Akihabara District Metro part in Japan. Despite, I may plan on vlogs in Japan if I ever got onto Japan one of these days. But anyway, what I think about it, I really like mangas that are printed in Japan, because they're only, like, cheap at a book sale at a library. The only way you could find the mangas that are printed in Japanese, you could find them in your languages section at your local library book sale. Whenever there's book sales happening at library, because this one I got was probably in its original Japanese. There's manga stores in Japan, I guess. And I have Saint Young Men Volume 1. This is my second manga than its original Japanese on there. Yep. Let me show you what the pages look like on Saint Young Men. Well, probably, for the most part on there, this one did have a full color on this image part only, and the last one right there. But it's probably, as you could tell, I can basically tell this manga book is in its original Japanese language on there, which is pretty cool. I like it. And I have Saint Young Men Volume 4. I don't have Volume 2 and 3, but one of these days I'll get Season 2 and Volume 2 and 3 of Saint Young Men manga. You know, the ones that are printed in its original Japanese, that are printed in Japan, which are basically the imports I have. I don't know why I had to get the 8 of these mangas that are printed in Japan, because I thought I want to have as a must-have when it comes to manga books that are printed in Japan, which I call it a must-have. Oh! This is what you... And also, you may find one of these also at your local anime convention when it comes to being a manga collector. No. Yeah, it's probably... Most parts in the... are in, like, full color, as you can see from here, and there. And the rest, it's probably in Japanese. What can you do? It's a Japanese manga. It's printed in Japan, though. And I have another volume of Saint Young Men. This is Volume 9. Yeah, it's printed in its Japanese on there. Oh, the most interesting thing is, before I can show you, this did came with a little advert for Saint Young Men anime in its original Saint Young Men Japanese anime DVD advertisement from Japan, when it says Blue BD/DVD on it, which is basically like the Blu-ray one. And also, and there's the back for the advertisement for, and it did mention about One Piece Film Z on this little advert for Saint Young Men anime DVD from Japan, which is probably the import. I don't know why, because it's awesome. It's not bad to have a little advert from Japan, because I thought it was cool to have it for your manga, I guess. And the rest parts, sorry with the blurriness, it's basically in its original Japanese. What can you do? And I also have another volume of Saint Young Men, Volume 10. With the little old school logo style. Kind of like reminded me a little reminiscent of the logo to Urusei Yatsura. But it's also almost extend to Urusei Yatsura because of the old school logo style. Here's the full color one. And the rest of the pages, they're basically all printed in its original Japanese on there. What can you do? It's my favorite must-own volume of the manga. Yeah, this was printed in Japan. Pretty cool, eh? And the next one I got more recently I have is Saint Young Men Volume 14. some of the pages are full color, and the rest of these parts, they're basically in its original Japanese on there. Speaking of the Saint Young Men volumes, I had to get all 5 of these Saint Young Men mangas, which I was going to show you. Those are the only 4 of these mangas I have that I did on my previous anime manga haul video for September, which if you want to check out, by the way. These are the only 5 Saint Young Men manga volumes. Those are the ones that are printed in Japan, because they're making their way through the book sales at libraries in the languages section, because I had to get those because it was kind of cheap. My own little selection of Japanese manga collection, my 8 manga Japanese manga books that are, because the rest of the mangas I have in my manga collection for the most part are all in are all in English translated ones. But I only got about 8 of these original Japanese manga books that are printed in its original Japanese. Well, what can you do? It's awesome. It's a must-have for your manga collection. And this got me interested, because I might plan on getting the rest of the entire manga books that are just printed in Japan when it comes to Japanese printed manga books. You know, like the ones that are in Japanese translated. I got all 5 volumes of Saint Young Men. I need to get the rest of them, because these were like $1 a piece at a book sale part of the library. For the most part, I guess. And next I have Takumi-kun Volume 2 series. This is probably like, yeah, it's probably a yaoi. What can you do? It's a weird one, because this is the weirdest manga. When I bought Takumi-kun, the yaoi manga, at a book sale at my library, I picked it up and I go, this is the weirdest one that I've ever bought in my life. I'm all, man, this is definitely a weird one I have bought in my life. The last one to cover is Volume 5 of Yasha Japanese manga. This is Volume 5. I need to get the rest of them, because this was published under Flower Comics. Yep, it's probably under yen pricing, as it was to currency. Yeah, this is the only manga in... This is the 8th Japanese manga that I got. Yep, as you can see, it's probably printed in its original Japanese on there. What can you do? I have 8 of these Japanese translated manga books, by far. So this covers up my Japanese manga collection for today. So that's going to be it for my Japanese manga collection video, you guys. Thanks for watching, but before we go, here's my quick thoughts about it. Because I have picked about 8 of these mangas that are printed in Japanese that are from Japan, which are the imports, which you can find those that are... You might get those mangas that are printed in Japanese if you've ever been to Japan, especially the Akihabara district, I guess. Help subscribe for content at Anime Planet, link in the description down below. Share this video on your Twitter and Facebook and all the social media. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up by clicking the like button on this video. If you like this video, if you have a... Please also leave it in the comments section below about, have you ever bought a manga that is printed in Japanese? In the comments section below. Please subscribe to my channel, RuRoniK95. Feel free to join my channel. Click on my notifications bell button. Check out my videos that I'm uploading as well. And that's all I have to say. So keep it otaku for this Japanese manga, for my Japanese manga collection video. And that's all I have to say. And I know today's Friday, and it is the weekend. This is RuRoniK95 saying thank you for watching my video. I'm glad you liked it. I hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you soon for the next video, and hope you have a great day. Have a shout out to Flip Otaku also. This is RuRoniK95 signing off, and thank you for watching my Japanese manga collection for today.